And we're getting you some big breaking news at this point in time, where a large explosion struck Iran's capital Tehran today at a square filled with demonstrators. Iranian state television has reported it. We're getting you those visuals on your screens right now. That is the big breaking news. The explosion hit Ferdowsi Square just down Engilab Street from Tehran University, the epicenter of the ongoing Quds or Jerusalem Day demonstrations. The cause of the blast was not immediately known, but Israel had warned it could strike in the area just before the blast. Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time. A large explosion struck Iran's capital Tehran today at a square filled with demonstrators. It has been confirmed and reported by Iranian state television. The explosion hit Ferdowsi Square just down Engilab Street from Tehran University, the epicenter of the ongoing Quds or Jerusalem Day demonstration. The cause, however, of the blast was not immediately known, but Israel had warned it could strike in the area just before the blast. My colleague Sneha Koshi is joining me right now to get us more details. Sneha, what we're reporting right now is that a large explosion was heard at Iran's capital Tehran at a particular spot that was filled with demonstrators. The explosion essentially took place at the Ferdowsi Square just down the Engilab Street. This is definitely a message being sent across that they are going to hit across at the civilians now.
Well, Samia, at this point, what we don't know is what is the source of this explosion, how did this happen. So that is the clarity that we are really expecting at this point. But this, remember, comes just possibly hours after Iran's supreme leader gave out a message to people of Iran to be united. And his message was very clear that people must come out for the Quds Day celebrations, for the Quds Day demonstrations. People of Iran must come out united together. And these explosions that we are seeing right now, the dark clouds, the plumes of smoke that are up in the sky, these have now emerged as the Quds Day demonstrations were happening. There has also been a very strong messaging from the Iranian establishment, the Iranian regime making it very clear that those who will protest against the regime will be dealt with iron hand. There will be an absolute crackdown against those who are protesting against the regime. So these things together, the latest of that we know is that this explosion has taken place in the heart of Tehran. This is Tehran Square, which is just about few meters away from one of the most prominent universities in Tehran. This was a protest, a demonstration, a Quds Day demonstration, which was being attended by thousands of people. Thousands of people were on the streets, and you have the explosion, which has happened. This, of course, is coming, Samia, just possibly moments after there was another explosion that was heard in West Iran. That was also something that was a very a big explosion that was heard in West Tehran as well. So these are the latest information that we are getting at this point, Samia. Of course, this comes as there seems to be an absolute escalation between the countries when it comes to the war in West Asia, with U.S. giving mixed signals, with Iran giving mixed signals, and Iran making it extremely clear that Gulf of Hormuz will remain closed, and there will be an absolute revenge from their side against the killing of what they call martyrs.
Neha, it was earlier the Karaj city that we had brought to our viewers earlier, that there were fresh explosions reported in the Iran's Karaj city, which essentially is located west of Tehran, and it's called Little Iran. There were multiple explosions reported over there, and now we're talking about Tehran directly. This escalation matrix has seemed to only be increasing from Israel's side, and we can expect retaliation from Iran's end as well.
That's right, Samia. Iran has given very, very clear signals. Iran has given signals that it's not going to back down. Iran has made it very clear that the Iran supreme leader is in charge. IRGC has given out warnings repeatedly. The latest warning that was given out by IRGC was against demonstrators, was against protesters who would be against the Iran regime. You have flags on the streets. You have people on Quds Day who are out on the streets in the heart of Tehran, and the massive explosion that has been heard just about few feet away from the university. And as you were mentioning, this comes just after the attack on Karachi city. That is in West Iran. That was also a massive explosion, a series of explosions that were heard in Karachi city in Western Iran, for that matter. Samia, what is important to know at this point is that the escalation seems to be imminent at this point. Iran saying they are not open to talks. But when it comes to United States making its own claims about the war at the cusp of end, as it were. But if this explosion is something that has links to US or IDF or any other country for that matter, it's a given that Iran is going to strike back with all its might. The attack is nothing but, the attack at the heart of Iran, not at any economic or military establishment, as it were. It's literally at the heart of Tehran, Samia.
Absolutely, Sneha. It's important to tell our viewers that at this point in time, there is no information about the extent of damage or casualties, if any. But what we're getting to our viewers right now is that a large explosion has struck Iran's capital, Tehran, today at a square filled with demonstrators. And this explosion essentially took place at the Ferdowsi Square, which is just down the Enclave Street from Tehran University, which essentially has become the hub of the ongoing coups or the demonstrations that are taking place right now. But Sneha, my colleague, is continuing to be with us. Sneha, while we're talking about Israel, we also have to mention over here that earlier Donald Trump had also issued a fresh warning, a threat to Iran, saying that watch what's going to happen today. So does it look like it's a collaborated effort from US and Israel to catch Iran completely unaware at this point in time when the demonstrations are going on the Quds Day?
Well, Samia, I couldn't hear your question very clearly. But before you just repeat that question, what information we're also getting is that this explosion was at a gathering where the US flags were being burnt. The US flags were being burnt, and there were these demonstrations against the United States, against Israel. These were demonstrations on Quds Day, pro-Iranian demonstrators, supporters on the streets. So this is something which has come out very clearly at this point. And the explosion now, very clearly visible, grey plumes of smoke in the sky. Samir, you were asking me a question. Go ahead.
I was asking you, Sneha, that while we're talking about the explosion that has rocked Karachi city, and right now we're talking about Tehran, those visuals are on the screens right now where you can see plumes of smokes coming out at a particular spot, which is the Ferdowsi Square, which is down the Enclave Street, where has become the epicenter, the hub for the demonstrations that are taking place. But Sneha, earlier Donald Trump had also issued a warning to Iran, saying that watch out, look out for what we are going to do to you today. Does it look like that it's a collaborated effort from Israel and US to catch Iran off guard, especially when the demonstrations are taking place in the heart of Tehran?
Well, Samia, that possibly is an inference that could be made. That is also something that is very likely, because if you remember, United States, Trump, Pete Hegseth has said the worst is yet to come. There have been a series of threats by Iran, particularly Iran saying that the targets now will be economic establishments. It's not just going to be military establishments. They've given out threats to tech companies, to banks for that matter, over the last few days, saying that they are now going to be the latest target for Iran. And while these threats have been escalating, here it is, you have an explosion, as you were mentioning, right in the heart of Tehran Square. This could be very clear signals from United States and Israel. In fact, it's interesting because this comes even as Donald Trump has claimed that the war is almost ended. That's something that we'll be bringing you shortly to our viewers. That's the latest of a claim that has been made by Donald Trump. But you have here the visuals, Samia, very telling visuals, because you have in the same frame, if we look at it, you have the black plumes of smoke from the explosion visible, and you have the Iranian flag visible. Very, very telling in terms of why Iran regime is going to continue. Even, this comes at a time when Donald Trump, when the United States told the people of Iran that this was your moment to seize, this was your moment of a lifetime to have a change in Iran. You had visuals coming out of Iran at one point of people celebrating, of people dancing, of women on the streets. And then you had the other set of people mourning the death of their supreme leader, mourning the killing of their supreme leader, Khamenei. And now if you see the visuals, you don't have that kind of contrasting visuals anymore. It's supporters on the ground. It's pro-Iranian regime on the ground. It's people en masse mourning the death of their leaders, their military commanders for that matter. Skies completely filled with plumes of smoke, as it were. And this possibly could be a very, very clear indication of how the regime change demand of the US or Israel, as it were, is of the past now, Samya.
Absolutely, Sneha. Somewhere does it appear that Khamenei's assassination seems to have boomeranged for US. It has only gone on to unite the people of Iran against the US, and that is exactly what we are looking at on our screens right now. The protesters, the demonstrators are out on the screens. They have these flags in their hand. They are all over here standing in unison, in solidarity with the supreme leader who has just been installed, Mojtaba Khamenei. And of course, this is something that perhaps Donald Trump may not have calculated.
Oh, Samya, there's a very important news that's coming in at this point to put it in perspective, and we should have the images very shortly on our screen. This is Iranian officials, Ali Larijani, as well as the police chief, Ahmad Raza Radan, who were in the march. They were part of this Quds Day march when the explosion took place. And we have visuals showing these leaders part of these Quds Day demonstrations that were happening in the heart of Tehran. And right there, Samya, we should have the visuals shortly. A very, very important development that is coming to the fore at this time. You have Ali Larijani and Ahmad Reza Radan, who have also been the front of the offensive of Iran, as it were, against US and Israel when it comes to communication and everything. They were present in the Quds Day demonstrations while the explosion took place, Samya.
Very, very important piece of information being shared by my colleague Sneha Koshi. She is telling us that the spot at where the strikes were reported was the square where the Iranian officials Ali Larijani and the police chief Ahmad Reza Radan were present, attending that march. They were very much a part of that march. They were present over there. Does it mean, Sneha, it was another precision-driven strike with the intention to eliminate them? Can we rule that out?
Samya, can you repeat that again, please?
Sneha, I was asking you that since these top officials like Ali Larijani and Ahmad Reza Radan were present over here, could this be another precision-driven strike? Can we rule out that it was an effort to eliminate the top Iranian officials, Ali Larijani and Ahmad Reza Radan? Do we know anything about how are they right now? Are they injured?
Samya, it's hard to say anything at this point, whether this was a precision strike or not, but this definitely seems very timed.